Right, this is the second half, and I'm going to just say a bit more about the scoring. Just wanted to clarify something I said earlier on. You need 100 logins to be able to remove people. So let's say somebody was sat there and you wanted to remove them. You go click, uh, click. Well, actually, you can go reserve because there's nobody there. But if there was somebody there, you'd be able to click and remove them, but only if you've got 100 logins. So the problem is if you haven't got the permission to remove somebody, even though you could chat on the Bridge Base Online chat line and say, Fred Smith, please leave the table. If he doesn't, you can't really move. And if it's a complicated movement, you can't move anybody until everybody's moved. So it's important to be able to know that you can move people. So that's where the 100 logins come in. You can make people leave the table with 100 logins. You don't need 100 logins to add somebody onto a table or to sit them on the table. You just need the 100 logins to remove them. So I thought I'd just mention that because it wasn't totally clear in my first video. The other thing I wanted to mention is the scoring. So there are two ways to consider, or two things to consider about scoring. A, which is the easiest way to score, and B, how you're going to score. So the first thing you should know is that if you're going to use EBU score, when you input manual scoring into EBU score, you input it by board number. So it's a bit like you need travelers for each board. But of course, because everybody's going to be playing the same hands, that doesn't happen here. So let me just explain that a little bit better. My three tables all have the same boards, and on the first round, everybody will be playing board one, board two, board three in order. Yeah, so unlike a normal club movement where everybody plays different boards on round one, everybody will be playing the same boards on round one. So you need to consider how you're going to use EBU score to do that. Now, one of the big benefits of this system here is the way that it actually produces the results. So let me just show you. So if you click over on here on the right hand side, it says history and my table. Now, right now, of course, there is no event in play, so it's not going to show you anything. But what I will do is just show you what it does look like from the session we ran this morning. Okay, so that's what it would look like if we'd gone into results. This would have been the results for table one, I think. Well, it actually doesn't matter which table it was, but it was just one table. So it just records all the results for each table, which is exactly the same as Bridgemates do. If you think about it, Bridgemates sits at table one, and you just record all the scores in the order that they are played. So if you do have access to Bridgemates, it's going to make your scoring life an awful lot easier because you can just refer to this occasionally. So, for example, you could have, if this was table one, you could get the Bridgemates and just input 7 results in, how long would it take? 2 minutes to do? It's a lot easier than trying to manually input the scores by board order because that gets very complicated. So for now, there's not much more to say. But what you do need to do is to have a movement so that you know which pairs are supposed to be playing at which table on which round. And as I say, the challenge is that all the players are playing the same boards on round one, whereas in a normal movement, they will try and avoid that. Obviously, Hull movements, Mitchell movements, they will try and avoid everybody playing the same boards at the same time. Otherwise, it will just be carnage in a club. Fortunately, this is very easy to arrange, so I'll show you how you can do that. Right, so everybody has access to EBU score pairs. So here we go. Now let me show you. Let's say we have a 3 table. So if we go in 3 table, let's just select, not quite sure what happened there. There we go. So 3 table howl. So 3 tables, there's a howl movement. So where are we? Blue howl. Okay, so if I was to click on show movement, I don't know whether you can see that. but I don't think you can. So what I'm going to do is just show you a copy of what that looks like. So that's what that button would have looked like if you could actually see it. You can see table one, they play the boards in order, set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But on table two, they're playing the fourth set first, and on table three, they're playing the second set first. That clearly does not work for your movement. So what we need to do is find an easy way of changing the movement to reflect the fact that everybody's playing the same boards. Um, Very simple. So we have the three table movement. We've selected howl, retrieve movement. Do you want to retrieve the movement? And we're going to save a new movement. So let's call it something. Let's call it ebed vid. Yeah, just so we know. I can't type, sorry, and talk at the same time. Three table howl. Right. So this is where everybody's sitting, and all you have to do is change 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Change 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and there you have an authentic, genuine howl movement where everybody plays everybody else, everybody plays every set of boards, nobody plays one set of boards more than once, and no pair more than once. So just save the user movement. Duplicated pair number 6. Yes, that's because that needs to be a 1, of course, not a 2. There we go. That's all in order. And now it'll work. The movement's been added. So now in my list of movements, I have this one that we've done, this and if I was to click on show description, again, sorry, not show description, show movement, again, I don't think you can see that very well. So this is exactly the same movement, but we have now moved the boards. So you would have 6 against 1, 5 against 2, 4 against 3, all playing the first set of boards, and it would just continue. So that's all pretty simple and straightforward. A lot easier than you might think. We'll have a quick look at a Mitchell, so let me show you that. Now you can make pretty much any movement you want. So let's say you went into a 5 table and you wanted to do a 3/4 howl, and you retrieve the movement. But actually you only wanted to pay 6 rounds, then you just change the number of rounds to 6, change the number of sets to 6, and then you just renumber all of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it will all work perfectly well. And if you want to do a Mitchell, then you can just generate a Mitchell by having 6 tables, 6 rounds, and it will just work it out for you. Okay, so the thing about Mitchell movements is if it's a very simple, straightforward Mitchell, it does not appear in the movements list. It will appear if you select an event as a movement option, because it's so simple, it doesn't actually appear as a movement. So I'm just going to pause while I think, in case there's anything else I need to explain to you. No, I don't think there's anything else I need to explain to you. So it's really just a matter of you having the table card in front of you. So, for example, with this table card that we've just done, this 3 table 1, you could do that. Print off the table card like that, click on printer. You'd have the table card in front of you, so you'd be able to control fairly easily who is sitting at table 1, who is sitting at table 2, who is sitting at table 3. So the thing that does take time is moving the people at the end of the round. So that's why with 3 tables, I tend to play a hesitation Mitchell, because you can play 4 rounds of 4, and you're not having to move quite so many people. So that's one hint, just moving less people. You also find people dropping off and dropping on Bridge Base Online. It's just a matter of getting confident using it. And sometimes we just lose our internet connection. So it's always worthwhile having another method of communicating with somebody who might disappear. So maybe a phone number, and you can ring and say what's happening. Nothing much else to add, I don't think. Scoring on the EBU pairs, of course, is automatic. As especially if you use Bridgemates, because Bridgemates works perfectly. I've used it, Bridgemates all the time, and you just literally look at the table, think, oh, there's 4 boards to do, put them in, and you've done. So, but it's impossible to play as well if you think about it, because you've got to collate all the scores. You have to move everybody around. Things go wrong sometimes. People disappear or whatever. There's all sorts of things might happen. But good luck, and if you need any more assistance, just put something on the eBed forum. And I think that's about it. Bye bye.